to you. This is Kakaaki Social. I'm Obozeghie. Now, we'll begin this week with a spokesperson, Femi Adesina, saying his principal, former President Muhammadu Buhari, one time considered assassinating the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, but thought to favor him instead of kidnapping and bringing him back to Nigeria. According to Adesina, in his newly published book, Reflections of a Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, 2015 to 2023, Buhari said he opted for the arrest of Kanu instead of mobilizing to kill him abroad when a delegation of Igbos met with him at the villa to plead for soft landing for Kanu. Well, he wrote in that book that you have made an extremely difficult demand on me. This is Buhari to the delegation of Igbo leaders who came to see him. As the leader of this country, the implication of your request is very serious. In the last 6 years, nobody will say, I have confronted the judiciary. We are developing a country and we have to go through the pains. And then he continued to say, let him make his case in court instead of giving a terrible impression of the country from outside. I feel it is a favor to give him, that's Kanu, that opportunity. Government could have mobilized to eliminate him where he was, but we did not do that. This is Adesina in his new book on President Buhari that was launched just last week. Dr. Ikena, in reaction to this, says if he did consider it, opting for arrest was because it was easier. The question Nigerians should ask is, how many Nigerians did Buhari consider and order their assassination? Why would the president consider the assassination of a Nigerian? For Boma, he says, why is he revealing this? Does he think this paints his boss as merciful or what? Does he know the meaning of extrajudicial killing? And more thought from this user, he says, please leave my brother Femi alone. He's a trained journalist, and as a journalist, he must be truthful. There is nothing wrong with that revelation. The question should be, is Femi lying? Of course, no. We all know what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu family compound in Umuahia before he ran to UK. And then for Eugene, he says, it's okay to write a tell-all book, but timing is very wrong. Nnamdi Kanu is still in prison. There is still a court trial to be held. The courts have condemned even the process of arrest, writing that a worse illegality was contemplated makes it more odious. It's a volatile issue. Well, that was the story on the space of social media just yesterday when this news broke. And then it looks like Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka will not stop reacting to the 2023 elections and the activities on social media anytime soon. This time he's saying that unlike other parts of the world, Nigeria's social media landscape is taken over by barbarians who lack intellectual discourse. Now, this was contained in his 48th President Party speech at his investiture as an honorary member of the Abeokuta Club in Ogun State on Saturday. And in his words, he says that in an election where disagreement can lead to one being labeled something phobia or whatever, I'm shocked and appalled that people are so consumed with power that they can't even accept the possibility that they didn't win an election. In continuation, he says, I don't deal in social media. In my opinion, social media has been overrun by barbarians who have replaced the intellectual component that formerly made social media relevant in other civilizations. Social media has been reduced to the lowest common denominator in this nation. How did Nigerians react? Big Wig Austin says, dear professor, this was not your ideology of social media space when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was torn apart on this stuff by the people whom you speak for. It became sacrilegious act because we said enough and confronted you all on your own turf, in your own game. Now comes the sermons. Times have changed. Those days of APC monopoly and barbarism, as you call it, is gone. Well, for Chimeka, he says, I said he will continue to go on TV to grant interviews because he has been contracted to stigmatize some and whitewash others. And then final thought on this is coming from David, who says the professor merely referenced social media barbarians, refraining from specifying any particular persons or geographic region. The prevalent suspicion and hostility directed towards him appear unwarranted. Such vehement criticisms only serve to validate and reinforce his statement. Well, let's see. Now to Nasarawa State, where the governor again is speaking. He is again saying that he has no plan to run for any political office after finishing his second tenure. If you remember, he had said in his first term that he was around to be a one-term governor, but he failed to honor his words, of course, as many others, as he fought in the latest election to the highest court. I mean, his rival there from the PDP. After his victory, he's back saying that his remarks, or this marks the end of this political contest for him as far as this country is concerned. Partly what he said in an interview, he says, I came in to be a governor. I came in only to be a governor. I did not come in to be a chairman, a senator, or a member of the House of Representatives. I don't have any dreams for those offices. And in continuation, he says, I have no dream of becoming evil president. I have no dreams of that. I can tell you categorically that Abdullahi Sule would not go for Senate after leaving office. By the time I finish my 8 years, I can do whatever I want to do. And then definitely not politics right there. But for Lawrence Kaka is saying, old same lies. You swore you were only going to be a one-term governor. See you now. You ran from pole to pillar, begging Supreme Court justices to keep you. And for Fidel King, he says, next thing we will hear again is, my people begged me to run for Senate because the way I governed them was very impressive. And also, Ambassador says, Buhari cried and vowed never to participate in politics again, but few years after that, he became the president. Atiku Abubakar, Nasir El-Rufai, now it's Governor Sule. We all understand the language. Okay, let's move over to our final story, where the former Sierra Leonean president, Bai Karoma, has arrived in Nigeria for touted medical care after a deal was reached with the West Africa sub-regional body, ECOWAS, even as he faces trial for treason charges. Now, Karoma flew out of Freetown to Abuja, the Nigerian capital, which is here on Friday afternoon, after being granted permission by the High Court on Wednesday for a maximum 3 months to attend to his health here in Nigeria. I mean, to attend to his health, but then he chose Nigeria. For netizens, this is quite not the case with their reaction. So what are they saying? Onigo Swing says, medical treatment for a country, all their leaders fly abroad, even for a toothache. He should tell us the truth about his visit. The story is not aligning. And then for Easy, it says, for you to think Nigeria has no medical facilities proves you know nothing about Nigeria. Lack of trust is the reason why our politicians travel abroad for medical reasons. And also, Otwa says, he's here on a negotiated political asylum. If he wanted medical treatment, we know where he usually goes. Well, I'm not sure I know where he usually goes. And then Sufficient Talker says, corrupt politicians protecting corrupt politicians. At their hospitals in his country, let him return home and answer all the questions his people have for him. Well, he says he's on medical leave, like he's in Nigeria to attend to his health. Is that not good news? That, I mean, we have people now come to Nigeria to attend to their health, while our leaders go to even treat something as soft as headache. Headache is not soft, but yeah, that's how we call it a day today on Kakaaki Social. Thank you so much.